By the year 1783, America was already an independent country with liberal ideas. This inspired the Latin American countries with their independence because of how they fought a great empire which had a lot of colonies and ruled them. So this gave Latin American countries hope for their independence.
At that time, the European countries such as England, Spain, Portugal, and France had colonies in America. These colonies started to get independence, and some of them because of the slavery they were suffering, another because of the social ideas such as the Enlightenment ones.
We're going to start with Haiti. Haiti was a colony of France. They started its revolution in 1791 and finished on 1803. This happened thanks to all the slavery and the difference of classes. The principal characters of these events were Jean-Jacques Dessalines, Toussaint Louverture, Henry Christophe, Alexander Peyton, and one important event was the massacre of whites.
We will move on now to the great story of the Venezuelan independence. The Napoleonic invasion over the European countries gave a chance to Venezuela to get their independence. This war started in 1810. The people inside the country wanted this because they were tired to pay high taxes and also the expansion of trade. Some of the most important battles in this war were the Battle of Alto de Godos, the Battle of Carabobo, and the Battle of La Victoria. In this war, the main characters were Simón Bolívar, Francisco de Miranda, Antonio de Sucre, and José Antonio Páez. This war ended in 1823.
Now we will see a short video about the Battle of Alto de los Godos.
Del Alto de los Godos. La tercera de 5 batallas entre 1813 y 1814. La valentía de una tribu indígena que defendió su libertad hasta la muerte. Y una aguerrida mujer a la que llamaron la Avanzadora. Sepulcro de tiranos, la batalla de...
By the same time in history, another independence was taking place, the Chilean War. This war had almost the same external causes as Venezuelans, but from the other side, the internal ones were also lack of representation in internal affairs that contributed to the beginning of the independence war. The Battle of Yerbas Buenas was an important event. This battle caused the Realista army to move back to the south and stay away from the capital. 1 year later, in 1814, the Battle of Las Tres Acequias took place. Bernardo O'Higgins and José Miguel Carrera participated in this battle. They were very important characters of this war. Chile became independent by 1826. The Chilean War is also known as a civil war because the fight was between the people who were benefited from the empire and those who were not.
By 1821, a colony of Portugal was getting his independence. It seems that Napoleon invasion also affected this country, since its colony took it as an opportunity to start their independence. This colony was Brazil. The war in Brazil didn't take that long as the other ones in America. Some of the main characters were King Dom and Dom Pedro. They helped to get everything happen. The Constitutional Revolution was an event that we should remark in this war. As I say, the war was short, so it ended on 1824.
The U.S. Civil War was fought from 1861 to 1865. It was fought between the northern states and the southern states of the U.S. The North began the Union led by General Ulysses S. Grant, and the South being the Confederacy, led by General Robert E. Lee. This was mainly fought because the Confederate States supported having slaves and the Union wanted to abolish slavery. Thanks to that, the Southern states wanted to become independent country to keep slavery. The Southern states wanted to keep the slaves because they were cheap hand labor for their main economic activity, agriculture. Abraham Lincoln was the President of the U.S. and supported the northern states. The Battle of Gettysburg was fought in the small town of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. It was the largest battle fought in this war and the one with the most casualties. It was won by the Union and marked the start of the offensive of the North. In this war, Abraham Lincoln gave the Gettysburg Address in which he invited the colored people to join the Union Army. In 1865, General Robert E. Lee surrendered to General Ulysses S. Grant.
Now we will see a video explaining the Civil War.
The last of the independences was a Cuban. It started in 1895. Most of the external causes were the consequences of the Spanish-American War. The internal ones were the sugar export decrease and the lack of nation. Some of the most important events were the Treaty of Paris and the expulsion of Spanish governments. Main characters of this war were Carlos Manuel de Céspedes, José Martí, and Gualberto Gómez. Also, this war ended in 1898.
Do you think that the American Civil War was necessary?
Yes, of course. I think that every single country, specifically in this case United States, had to come in a struggle for independence, improvement, and I think that the consequences are now visible since it's one of the leading countries in the world.
¿Qué sabe usted sobre las revoluciones de Latinoamérica?
Bueno, sé que todas las independencias de los países latinoamericanos fueron inspiradas por la independencia de los Estados Unidos de Norteamérica. También todos los países eran colonias de imperios europeos. Y esto sucedió durante el siglo XIX y algunos de los personajes más importantes o más famosos fueron Simón Bolívar, que también es conocido como el Libertador de América, y Bernardo O'Higgins. De hecho, yo tuve el honor o el privilegio de conocer la quinta de San Pedro Alejandrino en Santa Marta, Colombia, donde murió el Libertador Simón Bolívar.
What do you know about the American Civil War?
It was a war where the North and South fought for freedom, and the black people wanted to gain their rights, to be able to vote, to be able to have the education as the white people, and to stop the KKK. Of course, Martin Luther King was one of the leaders of the North people, as well as Malcolm X. And in the South, obviously, they lost, and so the black people received the rights they earned.